We've set the stage. Now I'm going to welcome up Reverend Melissa Moore Nobles with her sermon, The Edge of the Known.
Hey, y'all. I'm feeling so good. I don't know if it's Benito. I don't know if it's the monks. I don't know if it's Ty. I don't know if it's just being here with all of y'all. I think it's all of it mixed together. Yes? Yes. So I am Rev Melissa. I am blessed and honored to be the spiritual leader at Rockland Center for Spiritual Living. We are a new thought center centered in love and joy. And always, it's good to be here with our UUCR family. So I hope everyone had a wonderful Galentine, and my husband said there's also a Guy Lentine. He said Guy Lentine. I said, you be making up stuff, honey. So I want to start this by just sharing. This month is Black History Month. And at Rockland CSL, we've been having a New Thought Black History moment. So today I want to lift up the life and legacy of Reverend Dr. Della Reese. She is a beloved, or was a beloved singer, actress, minister, and spiritual teacher who answered a deeper call beyond the stage and screen. Della Reese was born Della Reese Patricia Early. I did not know her first name was Della Reese. Did y'all know that? No. See why it's important to have these Black History moments. Della Reese Patricia Early. She was born on July 6, 1931 in Detroit, Michigan. She began singing in church as a child and rose to international fame as a gospel and jazz singer, and later as an actress. And most of us became familiar with Della Reese from the show Touched by an Angel, yes. Behind the spotlight, Della Reese endured profound personal challenges, including loss, depression, and health crisis. Experiences that led her on a spiritual search for deeper truth and healing. That search led her to the teachings of Reverend Dr. Johnny Coleman, founder of the Christ Universal Temple in Chicago, and one of the most influential Black leaders in New Thought and Unity movements. If you don't know who Reverend Dr. Johnny Coleman is, you need to find out. Under Dr. Coleman's guidance, Della Reese discovered metaphysics, the understanding within us, and that our thoughts, beliefs, and consciousness shape our experience. These teachings transformed her life. Della Reese became an ordained minister and later founded Understanding Principles for Better Living Church in Los Angeles, where she taught spiritual truth, personal empowerment, and the presence of God within every person. Reverend Dr. Della Reese once said, God is not outside of you. God is within you. You are not separate from God. Through her ministry, her voice, her presence, she reminded people that healing, wholeness, and divine love are already within. Reverend Dr. Della Reese made her transition on November 19th, 2017, but her legacy continues as a powerful example of transformation through spiritual awakening. And that is your New Thought Black History moment. Ashe. So at Rockland CSL, our theme for February is embracing the edge. And so week by week, we've been exploring through questions, let's say that. And week by week, we've been going into deeper territory within ourselves. So the first Sunday, we stood at the inner edge with the question, where am I being invited to stretch beyond self-judgment into deeper self-acceptance? And we practice by releasing self-judgment and choosing compassion. Releasing self-judgment, choosing compassion. Yes? The second Sunday, we walk the edge of life with the question, in what ways can my inner truth be lived more visibly? And at Rockland CSL, we had the opportunity to share what some of our inner truths are. You'll remember that, Rockland? Yes. Some of us share our inner truths are peace, serenity, acceptance, awareness, action, curiosity, understanding, love, faith, connection, and alignment. Someone from UUCR, tell me what your inner truth is in one word. Just yell it out. Love. One more. Service. Service. Beautiful, beautiful. So, what do we do with that inner truth? We take that inner truth and we apply it in the world. Yes? And we apply it through our actions. We apply it through our presence. So, if your inner truth is service, how are you being in service in the world? How are you being love in the world? That is the invitation. That is the opportunity that we get to be a beneficial presence in the world. So today we are arriving at another threshold where we find ourselves at the edge of the known. And this is the question that guides us. What might we discover today together if we dare to step into the silence beyond words? I'll say that again. What might we discover together if we dared to step into the silence beyond words? So the edge of the known is a place of revelation. Our companion book for February is Howard Thurman's The Inward Journey. It's a wonderful book. In it, he writes, "We do not know each other yet. We have not yet dared to be silent together. We have spoken to one another. We have explained ourselves. We have told our stories, declared our opinions, and filled the air with words. But Thurman suggests there is something deeper than words, something that can only be discovered when we dare to enter silence together. Silence is not empty. Silence is the birthplace of truth. Silence is the birthplace of truth." Thurman reminds us that it is out of silence that all sounds come. Here, the sound without sounds can be most clearly heard. The sound without sound is the voice of spirit before it even becomes language. So the impulse of love before it becomes action is silence. The knowing before an explanation lives in the silence. So this is the edge of the known. And the question before us today is not simply, can you be silent? The question is, what might we discover together if we dare to step into the silence beyond words? So because silence is not only an individual experience, it is a collective one. And we are living in a time when the world is filled with noise. Opinions competing, voices arguing. So many believe power is in speaking louder. But Thurman teaches us that power is in listening deeper. Ernest Holmes, who's the founder of the Science of Mind, said in his sermon by the sea that he's had a vision. He had a vision of 1,000 people living in such awareness of God, of spirit, that their very presence would transform the world. He did not say 1,000 people arguing. He did not say 1,000 people trying to convince each other who was right. and who was wrong. He said 1,000 people living spirit to spirit, with spirit, in spirit, and to each other, which is the reason why we are here. Living from that inner awareness, living from that inner listening, transformation does not begin with noise. Transformation begins with attunement. It begins with alignment. It begins when we cross the edge of the known and enter the field of spirit. And we have seen this demonstrated in our time, many times. And I think we recently witnessed it with the monks, right, in their walk for peace. How extraordinary was that? Does everyone know what I'm referring to? Yes. Okay, I know you're my tribe. Yes. I mentioned it to someone the other day. They looked at me like I had two heads. I said, "You don't know about the monks walking from Texas to DC?" They was like, "No." I said, "Okay, all right." So one of the things they would do is the leader, I don't remember his name, it starts with a P. When they would stop, they would give peace talks during their lunch breaks and sometimes when they would stop in the evening to rest. And one of the things that he said that I wrote down, he said, "We are not here to bring peace, but to raise awareness of peace so you can unlock that box where you have kept peace locked inside." I said, "You better go." He said, "We are not here to bring you peace." In other words, he's like, don't get it twisted. We are not here to bring your peace, right? But to raise the awareness of peace that is already within you. So that reminds us that peace is not something that is given. Peace is something that we realize through the silence within. So I love that every day they would say, "Today is our peace day." Today is our peace day, not tomorrow, not when circumstances change, not at the new elections, not at all of the things. Today is our peace day. So at the end of their journey in DC, they had a global loving kindness meditation. And so I was watching on YouTube. Anyone participate in the global meditation? It was extraordinary. So I think they were in the Lincoln Memorial. Where were they? George Washington? They were at inside some place in...
Oh, that was, I think, George Washington University.
Thank you. George Washington University, where they did the meditation. And it was really noisy if you were online listening. And at some point, someone must have pressed mute because all of a sudden it was quiet, right? And when that silence happened, even though I was in Mount Vernon and they were in DC, and I was aware that there were thousands of people who were participating, or at least watching if they weren't participating. But there was a connection that was felt. Yes?
Yes.
And it was a demonstration that our collective silence dissolves separation. It dissolves it. That silence reveals unity. That silence reminds us to return when we wander off. Just come back to silence. Come back to peace. We don't have to argue and fight and fuss. We could stand as the presence of peace and watch how powerful that is. So now is the time to cross over the edge of the known, to go within and to access the spirit of peace that resides within each and every one of us. When we dare to be silent together, something extraordinary happens. We begin to experience ourselves not as separate individuals trying to figure out life alone, but as expressions of a shared field of awareness. The monks walked 2,300 miles to demonstrate their spiritual inner truth. So their inner truth is peace. That's one of their spiritual truths. And the way that they chose to demonstrate it in the world was to do this walk for peace. So when we're thinking about how do I demonstrate my inner truth of love, of compassion, of all the words that we shared, I'm not saying anyone needs to walk 2,300 miles, but what I am saying that we have to be in action. We have to be in action. So Holmes said that the world would be transformed by awakened consciousness, by the realization that the awareness of oneness is who we are. So we stand together today at this threshold, the edge of the known, not as individuals alone, but in community. That's why community is so important. And the question returns to us, what might we discover together if we dare to step into the silence beyond words? What wisdom is waiting there? What peace is waiting there? What new possibilities are waiting there? Because the edge is not an ending. The edge is a doorway. It is an opening. It is an invitation. The edge is where spirit whispers, come closer. Be here now. I love you. You are enough. You matter. We can't hear that in the noise. So when we dare to listen, we discover that we are never separate. We're never alone. We discover that the one mind has been speaking all along. So we come to our love work for this week. Are you excited? Yes. Mm-hmm. So the question is, what might we discover if we dared to step into the silence beyond words? So I think the best way to do this is to practice it now. So let's enter the silence together. So be comfortable in your chair. You could ground yourself by placing both feet on the floor and just gently go within, close your eyes, and take a couple of deep breaths. And we're just going to be here together in the silence. Now just quietly say to yourself, I am peace. And let's take a deep breath. As we come back to this physical space, you can open your eyes. Say after me, I am peace.
I am peace.
Look at the person next to you. Say, you are peace. Look at the other person on the other side of you and say, we are peace.
We are peace.
We are peace. Peace and blessings.